What up, what up? This is Finance, Fitness, and Folk. Channel we discuss finance, a little bit of fitness, talk about some folk. So on today's episode, I'm going to discuss is Juneteenth for black people. Whew, it's hot out here, y'all. So admin notes, thanks again to all the subscribe to the channel. I endeavor to keep pushing these videos out, give you leverage to better yourselves. So happy Juneteenth, everyone. Today is June 19th of 2024. So this is the year 2065, the year 2300, whatever year it is, right? You know what I'm saying? Today, right now, while I'm recording this video, is Juneteenth. So I'm gonna get into the definition of what it is and you know, what it means to us, and just to get it kind of like a backdrop as far as like how this has progressed over the last couple of years. So let's get into it. So it's Juneteenth for black people. So let's define what Juneteenth is for some of my subscribers that don't know what Juneteenth is. So June 19th, 1865 is the day that some slaves in Galveston, Texas found out that they were free. Now the Emancipation Proclamation, which was a document that was written and signed by Abraham Lincoln that freed the slaves, had been verified and signed off on in 1863. So ever since 1863, slaves all around the country were notified that they were free, and a lot of parts of the South honored that because it basically became a law, right? So if you didn't free slaves, then there was going to be consequences, right? But for whatever reason, these group of slaves in Galveston, Texas didn't get the news until over 2 years later, right? So, of course, slaves all around the country celebrated their freedom, and because they were considered the last group of slaves that were notified they were free, then that became the day that every single slave in America, from what we consider to be free, was freed. Every single slave, right? So that's what Juneteenth is, right? So it's been going on since June 19th of 1865. Now, you can meet a whole bunch of black folks in America that some may have known what it was when I was growing up. I know for myself, I kind of knew what it was, but I kind of put it in the categories like Kwanzaa, because I know what Kwanzaa is now, right? And I knew what it was back in high school. But it wasn't a thing. It wasn't considered a holiday to me. You know what I'm saying? It was a day that the slaves were free. But it wasn't, it wasn't specified in schools. We wasn't taught this in school. It wasn't a federal holiday. None of that, right? So, it was kind of put on the back burner. You got some black folks you may meet that they have been celebrating Juneteenth since they can remember, because they have a lot of deep roots in Juneteenth, and their families recognize Juneteenth, and they celebrate it, even though it wasn't celebrated across the country until a couple of years ago. These families still knew what Juneteenth was, and they celebrated it. And then you have some black folks that had never in their life ever heard of Juneteenth until it was made a federal holiday back in 2021. Now let me give you a quick spiel of what I believe and what the reason why this particular holiday was made a federal holiday, right? So it was made a federal holiday in 2021. So what was going on in 2021? Of course, coronavirus was going on. But what happened the year before? That was the start of the coronavirus, right, in 2020. But George Floyd happened, right? So that situation that was televised, right, because it was somebody video recorded it. And if you don't know what George Floyd, if you don't know who George Floyd is, do your research. I'm pretty sure that if you type in George Floyd, you'll find all kinds of articles and videos of who George Floyd is and was. But that situation set the country on fire. Now, mind you, this is like a time where people are terrified of coronavirus because, you know, you got all these news accounts of millions of people dying every single day. And then you have a situation where a black man is killed live on TV, and you have riots all over the country. People burning stuff down. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not going to get on a tangent as far as like what I feel about that particular situation. I do believe that that situation could have been definitely avoided. I do not believe that the excessive force that cop did on him was necessary. But this happens every single day in the black community. You know what I'm saying? Like, for folks who don't understand that, it really does. It just so happens that somebody video recorded it and there was justice that was given. Like I said, the country had got set on fire because of this. There was all kinds of riots and folks looting and burning stuff. And as I'm talking about this, let me get something straight when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know my opinion doesn't really mean much to a lot of folks, but the things that black folks were doing during that time when they were rioting and all these other things, I do understand that protesting is definitely a legal right that Americans have. But when you destroy communities, that's out of pocket. It really is. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm not gonna get on a tangent when it comes to that. But I don't agree with the looting and the robbing and all these other things that happened during the time. What that showed was ignorance on black folks' part, and all that did was solidify the hatred and the misunderstanding of what other races have, other ethnic groups have when it comes to black folks. You pretty much gave these folks a reason to not like us by doing this crap. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyways. So Juneteenth, is it for black people? So my personal opinion, I think that Juneteenth was basically, it was used to pacify black folks during that time. That's what I personally believe. Like I said, you know what I'm saying, the country was on fire because of that situation with George Floyd, and the government had to do something. You know what I'm saying? So what they did was, just like any other time during American history, they gave black folks something to celebrate, something to take their minds off of what was going on in the country. And I think Juneteenth, making it a federal holiday, was one of those things. Now, don't get me wrong, I celebrate Juneteenth, and I appreciate what Juneteenth represents. And I have taught my kids what Juneteenth is, and ever since 2021, we have celebrated Juneteenth. So I'm not saying that Juneteenth should be boycotted or anything like that, because it was the freedom of black folks. You know what I'm saying? Why would you not celebrate that? But to say that that this wasn't some type of tactic to pacify black folks during that time, it's totally obvious. You know what I'm saying? Why in the world would you make it a federal holiday in 2021 when this happened back in 1865? White folks didn't care about this holiday until that time. All because all this discontentment with black folks and black folks destroying the country. That's the reason why they did this, because they're like, oh, we need to give black folks something to take their minds off of this thing. We need to give black folks something to pacify them. And like I said, I'm not saying that Juneteenth is a bad thing. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying we have to understand the reason why it was made a federal holiday. Now let's think about this as well. You know what I'm saying? It's a federal holiday. So that means the government is off during this particular holiday, right? So you have, of course, a lot of folks working government, you know what I'm saying, black folks, white folks, Indian folks, whatever case may be. But you have a huge majority of black folks do not work government. So making it a federal holiday means that if you don't work a federal job, which a lot of black folks don't, do these folks still get Juneteenth off? I will hope so, but it's not mandatory for them to have off because it's a federal holiday. You know what I'm saying? So all these jobs that black folks may have, there's not a government job, regardless of what kind of job it is. You know what I'm saying? A job is a job. You work for money. You know what I'm saying? That's the American way, right? Now, of course, not going on a tangent, but having a business is making money too. But the majority of folks in America, to include black folks, don't own businesses. They have jobs. They work 9 to 5s, right? And you have a lot of folks a lot of black folks that work labor jobs and custodial jobs, food jobs, all these other things, right? And because Juneteenth is considered a federal holiday, I think it's to the discretion of the job to let these black folks off. Now, I think in good faith, they probably should let them off, but then they're not obligated to because it's a federal holiday. So anyways, is Juneteenth for black people? It is for black people because it is the celebration of our freedom. But because it wasn't made a holiday until 2021, right? Us black folks need to understand that this was given to us as a pacifier for what was going on during the country during that time, right? And like I said, this is not a reason for us not to celebrate Juneteenth. But just like anything else that's happened to us in America, we need to understand the reason why the government do these type of things to us, right? And we have to be aware of these things and understand that, America as a whole doesn't want black folks to be discontent. They don't want that because they understand that that things like that could really, really cause some issues, just like it was shown in 2020, 2021. So in any case, happy Juneteenth, everybody. And I hope all my black brethren celebrate this holiday with pride. Teach your kids, teach your loved ones about Juneteenth if they don't know about it. And what I would say to white folks and any other ethnic group, I'm gonna start saying ethnic group instead of other word, right? And any ethnic group that's not black, right? I would say on this day, if you feel uncomfortable with celebrating Juneteenth, then immerse yourself in black culture. Understand what black culture is. Understand what black history is, right? On this particular day, go to the African American Museum in D.C., right? Go to do research online about black folks, because the more you understand black people, the more you can kind of relate to them and not feel uncomfortable when we have these type of things. Because I understand that it's somewhat of an awkward situation for other ethnic groups when they try to interact with black folks and try to relate to them when it comes to these type of things. So that's my suggestion. If you feel uncomfortable, then immerse yourself in black history and black culture, and from that point, then you won't feel so uncomfortable by talking to your black friends and your black coworkers about Juneteenth. All right. So if you would like for me to discuss a topic or a subject that may be beneficial to the channel, email me at finditfitnessfolk@gmail.com. My email address in the description below. Find It Fitness and Folk, Triple F, I'm gone.